Good evening, Robert Scribbler. It is September 4th, 2018. Thank you for joining me for another climate change and clean energy video blog. Now for this segment, we are going to talk about Jebi's severe impacts on Japan, namely that Jebi is the most powerful tropical cyclone to strike Japan within the last 25 years. But before we get into that, I'd just like to set the context for a Japan that has, as of the summer of 2018, been struck by severe flooding that impacted millions of people, by a heat wave that put tens of thousands of Japanese citizens in the hospital, and now by the strongest typhoon to strike the island archipelago within the last 25 years. And what is the common thread running through all of these events? And in a few words, we can say hot sea surface temperatures. I guess that's 4 words. Hot sea surface temperatures are the common thread running through all of these extreme weather events. Hot sea surface temperatures surrounding Japan have increased the atmospheric moisture loading, providing more potential fuel for the record rainfall events that we saw earlier this summer. Hot sea surface temperatures have increased both the potential peak temperature during day and night for Japan during summertime, as well as increasing the heat index, which measures how hot it feels, increasing wet bulb temperatures, which results in higher risk of heat injury and, in the worst case, loss of life. And hot sea surface temperatures provide more fuel for hurricanes, and in this region of the world called typhoons, which provide more convective fuel as well as more atmospheric water vapor, which typhoons like Jebi could feed on. And as we can see in this sea surface temperature anomaly map, much of the region surrounding Japan shows much warmer than normal sea surface temperature, except along the path of Jebi, which has caused a bit of upwelling, which has cooled off sea surface temperatures. But it's worth noting that sea surface temperatures near Japan are as high as 5.5 degrees Fahrenheit above normal, or around 3.1 degrees Celsius above normal, which is much warmer than normal, which provides a lot more fuel, a lot more moisture for storms when they do occur, like Jebi. Now, it's worth noting that these warming sea surface temperatures are a fingerprint of human-caused climate change, which is expected to increase the frequency of extreme rainfall events, extreme heat waves, particularly extreme heat waves in humid environments, which are much more potentially damaging, and increase the peak potential of hurricanes and typhoons like Jebi. I'm going to go through some of the news related to the damage that has now been caused as a result of Jebi. In Japan, dozens of cars apparently have caught fire as a result of cars being flung about due to the 130-mile-per-hour winds of the storm. You can see some instances of vehicles being tipped over, crossing bridges by these extreme storm winds. As we can see here in this video feed, twisted wreckage is becoming a common theme in news feeds coming from Japan. It's also worth noting that approximately 2 million people have now been forced to evacuate, 300 have been injured, and approximately 9 have lost their lives as a result of this very severe storm. And just some more images of wreckage, in this case, roofs being blown off. Another video feed of this vehicle being tipped over and blown toward the edge of a bridge as its siding is ripped off from France 24. Here's a map of Jebi as it crossed the southern portion of the Japanese island chain. A building siding being ripped off by extreme winds. So, oh, and the Osaka airport was recently flooded, as well as the bridge was cut off as a container ship was hurled into the side of a bridge by strong winds and massive waves due to Hurricane Jebi. So unfortunately, increasingly intense storms, particularly increasingly intense hurricanes and typhoons being able to impact middle latitude regions are a signature impact of human-caused climate change. And we can't completely divorce Jebi from this trend, considering the fact that atmospheric moisture levels, which help to feed storm intensity, and high sea surface temperatures occurred in the environment in which Jebi developed. So, unfortunately, another very severe climate change related impact for Japan today. Thank you for joining me, and I'll be chatting with you soon.